Good afternoon. Here is the iPower 102.7 FM Midday News. I am Inioluwa Adekoya. First, the headlines. Ondo government urges residents to register as INEC begins CVR. Petrol marketers propose price reduction. On the foreign scene, US to commence the sales of Venezuela oil. And in sports, AFCON releases list of top scorers. Details of this and more in a moment. Please stay tuned. Glad to have you back, and now the news in detail, beginning from Ondo State. Special Assistant to Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa on electoral matters, Lawson Akintokun, has urged eligible voters in Ondo State who are yet to be registered to promptly visit the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) offices in their respective local government areas to complete their voters' registration. Akintokun made the call while speaking on efforts aimed at strengthening democratic participation in the state, stressing that early registration would help discongest INEC offices and prevent the disenfranchisement of eligible voters. He further disclosed that INEC is making arrangements to deploy mobile registration teams across wards in the state to deepen grassroots participation and make the process more accessible, particularly for residents in rural area. And now to Oyo State. Oyo State government has suspended the Shobaluju of Ufiki in Atispo local government area, Jacob Shobaluju, for allegedly violating state executive order which regulates mining activities in the state, as well as trespassing on government gazetted assets. The action is stated in a letter signed by the Director of Chieftaincy Matters in the Ministry of Local Government and Chieftaincy Matters, MRAM, Olajire, was taken in interest of Oyo State and its resident. The letter further directed the traditional rulers to refrain from all activities related to mining, including the issuance of consent letters to miners, to desist from interfering with the investigation and to make himself available for questioning by the investigating team as required. And now to petroleum matters. The Nigerian petroleum production marketers have announced the plan to further cut the price of premium motor spirit near 739 naira per litre nationwide. The president of IBMAN, Abubakar Magandi, disclosed this to newsmen on Monday in an exclusive interview. Reports say while NNPC retail outlets price stood at 850 naira per litre, the new price is still 76 naira higher compared to Dangote refinery backed MRS filling at 739 naira per litre. Amid an ongoing price war in the country or downstream sector, recall that in the end of last year, Dangote refinery had announced a massive drop in petrol prices to urge out marketers and to set the tone for petrol price war among major players into the new year 2026. You're still listening to Midday News from iPower 102.7 FM. Still to come. On the foreign scene, US to commence the sales of Venezuela oil. And in sports, AFCON releases list of top scorers.
Whether you're tuning in for breaking news, in-depth analysis, or community updates, Hyper 102.7 FM remains your most trusted source. Because when it comes to news, the truth matters. Hyper FM 102.7.
Glad to have you back, and now to the foreign scene. At least 20 people were killed and 65 others were injured after a cargo truck packed with Ethiopian asylum seekers and migrants overturned on a highway. The road accident took place in Samara in the country's northern Afar region on Tuesday. The regional government has been doing all the necessary life-saving operations since the accident happened, and the moment making sure that the injured persons get full medical attention at the Doughty's Referral Hospital, while wishing comfort and strength to the families of the deceased relatives and friends. Still on the foreign scene, days after the U.S. President Donald Trump abducted President Nicolas Maduro, he has unveiled a plan under which Venezuela will turn over 30 to 50 million barrels of oil to be sold by the U.S. with the claim that the proceeds will benefit the people of Venezuela and the U.S. Meanwhile, Venezuela interim leader Declan Rodriguez said no foreign agent is running Venezuela despite Trump's repeated claims that he is in charge of the country. However, condemnation of the abduction of Maduro continues to grow as the United Nations Security Council, including U.S. allies, condemn Washington's actions. And now to the sporting arena as the African Football Cup of Nations AFCON enters its quarterfinals on Friday. The list of its top scorers has been released with Morocco star Brahim Diaz being the current top scorer at the 2025 African Cup of Nations AFCON. Meanwhile, Diaz is one goal ahead of the likes of Morocco Ayoub El Kabi, Nigerian Ademola Lookman, Egypt Mohamed Salah, and Nigerians Victor Osimhen. The African top scorers ahead of the last 8 stages is as follows, with the number of goals each player has been able to score. To end the iPower 102.7 FM media news, let's take another look at the main point. We told you in the course of the bulletin that the Special Assistant to Governor Lucky Ayedatiwa on electoral matters, Lawson Akintokon, has urged eligible voters in Ondo State who are yet to be registered to promptly visit the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) offices in respective local government areas to complete their voters' registration. We also informed you that Nigerian petroleum product marketers have announced a plan to further cut the price of premium motor spirit near 739 per litre nationwide. On the foreign scene, we informed you that days after the U.S. President Donald Trump abducted President Nicolas Maduro, is unveiled a plan under which Venezuela will turn over 30 to 50 million barrels of oil to be sold by the U.S. with a claim that the proceeds will benefit the people of Venezuela and the U.S. And finally, in the sporting arena, we informed you that as African Football Cup of Nations enters its quarterfinals on Friday, the list of its top scorers has been released, with Morocco star Ibrahim Diaz being the current top scorer at the 2025 African Cup of Nations AFCON. And that was the iPower 102.7 FM media news, edited by Akin Adebayo. I am Inioluwa Adekoya. Many thanks for listening and a beautiful afternoon to you.